Welcome back, everyone, to the Digital Product Mama podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Bowden, and today I have with me Liz Wilcox. Welcome, Liz. I'm so excited to chat about email marketing.
Hey friends, I'm really excited too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've never had anyone on the show talking about email marketing, so I'm really excited to pick your brain. And it's one of my favorite topics. I always say that an engaged email list is the number one predictor for digital product success. And so I'm glad to have someone else like back me up on this because I talk about it all the time. So before we dive into all the things, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you help people.
Right now, I'm an email marketer, right? And maybe you don't have your email list yet, or you're just starting out and you're wondering, how do I get people on my list? What do I say to them each week? Those are kind of the biggest solutions that I give to people. But I actually started off as a travel blogger. I was a mom to a toddler. I have my education degree. I was going to be a teacher. I even have a master's degree. I wanted to be a principal one day. And then I realized that I really couldn't be a great teacher and a great mom at the same time. So I decided I've got to figure something else out. I know that I'm smart. I know I can do it, but what is it? What do I do? And that's when I came to find out about blogging and digital products. So I started off as an RV travel blogger. I traveled around in my rig with my then husband. I'm not married anymore. And my toddler. And I started with email because everyone and their mother was saying, you do all of this to grow an email list so you can sell to them, right? You start a podcast, a YouTube, a blog, whatever, to grow your email list. So Mama didn't raise no fool. I grew the email list. I started creating digital products. You name a digital product, I've created it, I've sold it. And then I got really good at email, and people started asking me, like other moms I was meeting in Facebook groups and things like that. And that's when I sold the travel blog and I went all in, teaching people how to, do email kind of in the margins of life.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize our story is a little bit similar, not with the travel blogging, but I am a former teacher and I left the classroom so that I could be a mama, a stay-at-home mama, and now I have two and stay at home with them. So it is so cool that we live in this digital age that provides us all of these opportunities to work from home and still make an income. It's just, it makes me really excited for the opportunities for mamas out there. A lot of people in my audience, they're just starting out. Maybe they have a digital product, maybe they're getting ready to create one. So, what is your best advice for starting an email list from scratch?
My best advice is to get on something like Facebook or Instagram or wherever you're most active online and to just tell people, hey, this is what I'm doing. I want you to join the email list. When I started my travel blog, I didn't even know this was like a marketing thing. It was just felt like the right thing to do. But I got on Facebook. I started sharing about, hey, I just bought an RV. I'm moving in it into it. I'm living in it. This, that, and the other. Sharing pictures. And then I said, hey, I'm going to be sharing my journey over here on this email list. So the day that I launched my blog was the day that I launched my email list. And so I really recommend just getting on social media and saying, hey, I'm creating XYZ or I'm talking about ABC. If you're interested, join this email list. Now, no, not everyone that sees it is going to join the list, but the people that are interested are. And this is going to give you a little bit of momentum. And then from there, you can start networking, finding people in your industry that are kind of new too, and say, hey, what can we do together to kind of grow together, right? How can we link arms and appear bigger than we are? And that's the second thing that I recommend is just really you got to work on your networking. I'll share your blog post, you share mine. I'll come on your Instagram live, you come on mine. And once you've got that email list, even if you've only got 20, 30 people, find other people that are just starting their list. Hey, I'll share your thing to my email list. You share my thing with your email list.
I love that. I love collaboration. I think it's such a missing piece in this online landscape that, I mean, people still are craving connection. So if you can build those genuine relationships, even online, it can really, really grow your business in a way that without connections, it's just not possible. Okay, so you talked about getting into Facebook groups or Instagram. So do you suggest having like a freebie, a lead magnet to share? Or are you saying just tell people, hey, I had this like weekly newsletter, join to get that weekly newsletter?
Yeah, on Facebook, when you first announce, hey, I'm doing this thing, you don't necessarily have to have a lead magnet or, something that says, hey, you give me your email address, I'll give you this guide, download this course, whatever. You can just say, hey, I'm starting to share my journey or give tips or whatever over here on this email list. But as you grow, as you network, I do recommend having a lead magnet, something that, is useful to your subscribers. For example, I teach email. What's my lead magnet? A welcome sequence, templates, right? So it's like, hey, you need a welcome sequence, download it over here and you give me your email address in exchange for it. So I do recommend, especially in those first couple years before you've built your reputation, before people know who you are, to have a lead magnet, to have something that says, hey, I can help you over here. And with the lead magnet, I recommend thinking about the bigger picture. What do I want for my future clients or students, right? Speaking of, a lot of us are teachers listening, right? Lindsay and I are both teachers. So think about, if they're graduating from your university, what do you want for them, right? What degree are you handing them? And then the lead magnet is just that first day of class. For example, I want you to make money with email. On the first day of class, we're just going to talk about welcome sequences. Here's your resource for that.
That's really a really good analogy. And I talk about this all the time. Like your lead magnet needs to be directly related to whatever your paid products are going to be for a lot of reasons. Like you want the right people on your list. So if your lead magnet is random, then you're going to get random people on your list. And then, if you have that lead magnet that's directly related to whatever your paid product is going to be, then you can build those funnels, like an upsell funnel, or, an email sequence funnel after someone downloads your lead magnet. So I'm glad you said that. I hammer that all the time with the people that I help. How can people creating and selling digital products build real connection with their email list? And I like how you started off by saying like you were just sharing your life. And so I feel like that's maybe hard for some people, especially if maybe their niche isn't just kind of what they're doing on a daily basis. How can they still keep that human connection?
I teach something called the email staircase. First, you have a follower, then you have a friend, then you have a customer. So, followers, you can Google a million and one ways to gain followers, right? It's all about what feels good for you. Once you
Mhm.
get the followers, get them on your email list and turn them into a friend. Why? Because people buy from people they trust, right? And so when I talk about friends, I don't mean, you're sharing all your dirty laundry and you're bringing out all the skeletons from your closet. No, but there is this sort of kinship, this friendship that you have in common. For example, you're on Lindsay's list. She's a mom. You relate to her in that way. She wants to help you with digital products. She sells digital products herself. That's the friendship. That's kind of the through line. That's the foundation of your friendship. You both have that in common. And so that's what I mean by friendship. Now, how the heck do you create friends? How do you make those connections in the inbox? You just got to do three things. And this is the same with any type of friend, right? Number one, you've got to invest in them. No one is going to invest in your products if they don't know that first you are invested in them. So sharing in your emails and your newsletters, hey, if you've got a podcast, hey, I just bought a new mic. I want the quality of the sound to get better. Hey, I just took this email course so I don't waste time in your inbox.
Mm.
Hey, I just bought this computer. Or even I just spent 2 hours while my daughter was napping knocking this blog post out for you. That shows you are invested in them. The second thing is to relate to your people. Again, people want to buy from people they trust. Becoming relatable is really important. I just mentioned, Lindsay's a mom too. She decided, oh, I want to stay at home with my kids. That's something that's super relatable to me and probably super relatable to you, probably why you found Lindsay or myself. And so sharing little things about life And no, I didn't say interesting. It's hard to be interesting. Like, let's leave that to TV show writers. It's easy to be relatable. Humans want to relate. For example, I love bright, loud colors. I wear headbands. I look like I'm from the 90s. I've got an NSYNC shirt on right now. I've got rainbow glasses. On my mug, I've got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I've got an octopus. I've got Eminem cassette tapes.
Uh,
For me, I relate to my audience because I am a millennial mom. People, oh yeah, I remember my Backstreet days or New Kids on the Block or, oh, Justin Timberlake, he's still my favorite. That's very relatable to your audience. So in your emails, a lot of marketers will tell you, oh, tell stories, but really you just need to relate to your audience. So even a simple personal update. Before I wrote this email, my daughter had a diaper blowout, and so I only have 10 minutes instead of 30, like I thought. Here's the link to my blog post, right? That's something relatable.
right.
Even, oh, my fridge broke down. The repairman's on his way. I went to Costco and I couldn't believe the deal I got. Oh, I went thrifting with my daughter over the weekend. Just little life stuff that's super relatable to your audience. So remember, I said you got to show you're invested, become relatable. And the last thing to connect with your audience, and this is where most people drop the ball,
Mm,
is to stay top of mind.
mm,
You can't email today and then email me on New Year's and expect me to know that you're invested, expect me to relate to you. You have to stay top of mind. Now, this isn't, oh my gosh, Liz is telling me I have to write an email every single day or even every single week. Weekly is a great rule of thumb, but
mm.
you can build up to that.
Yeah, for sure. I have a question about, I've never heard anyone talking about like letting your audience know that you're invested, which I really like that. I think that's really important. So could you give an example? Like, would you say something like that in an email or maybe just like an Instagram story, or how would you let your audience know that?
Both. Yeah. In an email, you might think, oh, well, I'm just a travel blogger. They don't care that I bought a new podcast mic. They just want to know the 5 things I did at Yosemite last week. No, they want to know that you're going to stick around, right? That they're not just going to read one blog from you and then you disappear. So,
Okay.
yes, in the email, hey, Lindsay, Liz here. Over the weekend, I was delivered my brand new Shure podcast mic. I can't wait to try it out because I know you've been listening, but I know the audio has totally sucked. So thanks for sticking around. Hopefully we'll sound better in the next episode. And
Okay.
then you can get to, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and I wrote a blog post. Here's the 5 things I did in Yosemite that you have to do too on your next trip. Bye. I just wrote, you see how I just wrote that entire newsletter? It took me 20 seconds. It
Yeah.
really can be that simple.
Okay, I love that. And you said weekly. That's what usually I recommend too, is every week. And if you batch that at the beginning of the month, it doesn't have to be that daunting. You have something called the 20-minute newsletter, which I feel like could kind of relate to what we're talking about right now, especially if you're a busy mom or you're maybe teaching full time in the classroom. So, how do you recommend getting those like 4 monthly emails out?
If you don't have time to write your newsletter, chances are people don't have time to read it. It's a
Mm,
newsletter, not a novel. Let's not overthink this. Let's even break down that, quote unquote newsletter I just wrote for Lindsay. It's just a simple 20-minute framework because I know email, maybe it's not your favorite thing, or maybe you're just starting. So you're not a pro at it, but you can do this 20-minute newsletter. So the first thing, and you'll see that I did this, if you rewind the tape, you'll see, oh yeah, Liz did hit all these points.
mm,
So it's just a greeting, hey, first name. However, if you don't say, hey, what up, friend,
mm,
whatever you say, simple greeting with their first name, and then a personal update, 2 to 3 sentences about something you've done since the last time you emailed them. This is where that investment or that relatability piece comes in. This is where, oh, I just wrote a blog post that took me 7 hours instead of one because my toddler kept interrupting me, right? That shows that you're invested. Hey, you wrote the blog post, right? And number two, you're relatable. Oh, you have a toddler that interrupts you. What's more relatable to that to certain audiences, right? Or,
right.
you bought the podcast mic, whatever, right? So that's just, again, a short personal update, 2 to 3 sentences about something you've done since the last time you emailed them. Very simple. Then you just segue into the content. Just like a few minutes ago, I said, anyway, here's that blog post I wrote on the five, da 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 da, right? Now, I might have lost you when I said the word segue. Oh, Liz, I'm not a writer. I was terrible at segues. Just ask my 10th grade English teacher. Well, luckily for you, we live in modern times and you can just hit that caps lock button on your keyboard and type in the word anyway, dot, dot, dot. What I really wanted to talk to you about is my new blog post,
Mm.
my new podcast episode, this TikTok that, made me laugh and made me think of you. Whatever content you actually have that week, or, my 20% off sale on my entire shop, my new printable, whatever it is. It could be a sale, it could be something for free, etc. So again, just a greeting, short personal update, segue into the content, and then get out of there.
I love that. Okay. That's very doable, I feel like, for anyone, even if you're busy and easy to batch. I'm definitely going to try that this week. I love that. Okay.
Yay, I'm so excited. I love
Yes.
hearing that. I love
So
hearing that.
I'll definitely try it and I'll definitely shout out this podcast episode when I do. So,
Amen.
okay. So we're talking, so that's more of like nurture emails, like weekly kind of, more on the side of like freebies and value, right? Well, how often would you weave in sales into that?
Personally, I sell in almost every single email.
Okay.
Y'all, mama got to feed them babies, right? Like
True, true
no
that.
one, no one else is going to feed them, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to sales and like nurture versus sales, for me, my products are for serving. The best way I can help you is with my paid product. So it's not that every single email is in sync in 2001, buy, 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 right? It's
Mhm.
that everything leads into my products. Everything I teach, I have a product for, or it's under some sort of umbrella, like we talked about with your lead magnet needing to, eventually lead into your product. So, for example, if I'm doing that same newsletter we quote unquote wrote earlier about the top 5 Yosemite things,
Mhm.
maybe I have a paid guide for that too. So I add to that and I say, PS, are you actually going to Yosemite in the next 6 months? Here's my $20 digital guide on da 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 da.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's not that that was a strictly sales email,
Right.
but I'm reminding people of my offers over and over again. Remember, I said people buy from people they trust. Here's another one for you. People don't buy when you sell, they buy when they are ready.
Mm.
Right? The gas station is always open, but I'm not going until I need gas, right? It's always open on the corner for me. And that's the same within your emails. You've got to make sure, maybe Lindsay isn't going to Yosemite yet, but Liz is. So you better put that in the PS.
So I do a lot of PS selling too. I think that's, a lot of people maybe skip right down to the PS. I do sometimes. Do you suggest kind of maybe changing it up? Like sometimes you put that little blurb in the PS, sometimes you may put it in, the first three sentences that you were talking about, or do you kind of always keep it in the same spot?
Yeah, so variety is the spice of life. A lot of email marketers will tell you, oh, there's one formula for doing things. But, test it out. What feels good for you? What feels good for that specific email? It
Yeah.
might be the PS, or it might be, hey, I just need to get to the point because, I've got to drive cross country today. Wanted to remind you, I've got this guide, XYZ. Here's a few bullet points about why you should buy it. Okay, bye,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
really up to, what your objective of the week is, how interested your audience is. If you've done the PS sale for 3 weeks in a row, maybe try it at the top.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to write about more stuff, but just wanted to let you know today's the last day for the sale, or price of this guide is going up next week. Get it here. And then again, that caps lock. Anyway, dot, dot, dot.
Mm.
Here's a couple other things going on this week.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that you said like test it and check the data because the data doesn't lie. So if a lot of people are purchasing when you send that PS, then maybe do more of that.
Right, right. Love that.
Okay, so I teach a lot about evergreen sales, but I also do live launching, especially for bigger offers like online courses. So, do you have any advice or a certain approach when it comes to live launch emails?
Yeah, I personally love live launching. I don't know. Maybe it's just my ego. Like it's so validating.
Yes.
Right? Even if I only make one sale, I'm like, okay, I'm on to something. Especially when I was first starting out, it was just, even when I failed, I was like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm moving the needle. Now these people know this is what I'm about.
Yeah.
How can I go find more people that care about this thing? So I love live launching. So my first tip is maybe just relax around live launching. There's a lot to learn there. Yes, it can seem like, oh my gosh, this all or nothing. If I don't succeed, if I don't hit my goal, what was this all for? And you go into any Facebook group or LinkedIn or whatever, and I hate live launching. Maybe just ignore that. Maybe get yourself a launch buddy. You can DM me. I will cheer you on like nobody's business. Okay, Liz Wilcox, that's the name. You can Google me. I will DM you back if you say you're live launching and you're nervous because I want you to feel good about it.
Yeah.
Then within your launches, your emails, how can you bring the energy up? The same way I started the conversation saying, I know this, but come on, let's go. And I kind of probably already started to shift your mind. You've got to do that with your own customers. If you just kind of go through the motions, that's kind of the energy you're going to get back, right? And
Yes.
so, how can you write your emails, even if you're using templates? How can you write them to get people excited, to show people that you are excited about this
Yes.
product?
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy ways to do this. Number one, say, I'm so excited. Like
Yeah.
I know it seems so like stupid, but we often
No.
forget we go through the motions, especially in
Right.
our first few years of business, right? Or if this is your first time. So say, I'm excited. You can even say you're nervous. I'm so nervous and so excited. Remember, show you're invested.
Yeah.
I've spent the last 2 months on this. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm excited for the right people to join this program, to buy this thing, to get my da da da. Tell people everyone's going to match your energy, right? No one should be more excited or transparent than you.
Yes.
Then put pictures, share photos of yourself working on the product or, a video walkthrough of the product so they can see your face. This is really, really going to help you. I feel like it's like the underrated VIP, MVP of launching. I try to show my face as much as possible during
Mhm.
a live launch. And yes, you can do that with email. It's not about, I'm going to go live on YouTube over here. It's just, taking a selfie with you at your computer and the product in the background or whatever. Videos are really, really good. Also, I make GIFs or GIFs of myself, and I put those in lots of launch emails. I make GIFs of the modules because a lot of people are visual,
Oh, cool.
right? They
Yeah.
need to see the product. When I was a travel blogger, y'all, my ideal customer had never heard of a digital course or a digital product. So
Mm-hmm.
my main objective was, I don't know what this is, Liz. So I had to this is where I got the idea. I was like, oh, I need to show them. So I had to make videos, put those in the emails, make, short little GIFs of walking through the modules, things like that. Yeah, those really, really will set you apart in your launch and
Yeah.
get people thinking about it, seeing it, and hopefully converting.
Do you do that in Canva? How do you make the GIFs?
I'm old school. I've been using GIFs before Canva. So I just use Jiffy.com. I just record myself on my computer and I upload it to Jiffy.com and it makes the GIF for me. And I
Okay.
like Jiffy because it also makes it then searchable. So I can use my own GIFs when I
Yeah,
type in my name in my own Facebook group, etc.
that is really good. I've never done that before. I've actually never made a gift, so I should
Oh,
do
they're
that.
so fun. And
I do.
again,
I
it
love
makes
them. I use them all the time, but I've never personally made one, so I need to do
they're
that.
great. Yeah, they're great for like brand recognition. Like
Yeah.
for example, I love NSYNC, right? So I could
Yeah.
use all the NSYNC GIFs that are out there,
Yes.
but I would rather use my face like wearing an NSYNC shirt or having NSYNC in the background because then my face is associated with that
Right.
and then people know what I look like.
So good. Yeah, I say a lot of times because I teach people how to launch digital products courses. And I say, when someone goes to buy a car, they test drive it. Or when someone goes to buy a new shirt, they try it on. But you can't really do that with a digital product. So you have to show them as much as possible so they get the real feel of what's inside, what's included. And especially like you said, if they are selling to an audience that doesn't even know what a digital product is or what an online course is, if you confuse your audience, you're going to lose your audience. So you really need to be clear about this is exactly what's included. And I love that tip about making a gift. So I need to write a list of things I need to do after this podcast episode. I love it. Okay. So that's for live launching. And then, of course, in between live launches, you're going to be continually emailing your list. So, in between those live launches, do you suggest going back to like the weekly kind of nurture/sell emails?
Yeah, absolutely. So in between the launch, remember we're trying to make friends because friends they buy from people they trust, right? Once you have a list full of friends, you can have a list full of customers. So you want to make sure you continue to stay top of mind because you can make all the GIFs and video walkthroughs. You could come to somebody's house and put together the product you're selling them. But if they
Yeah,
don't trust you, if they don't know you're invested, if they
right.
don't relate to you, if you're not top of mind in their search for that solution, then you're not going to win, right? They're not going to convert. So really making sure you send on a regular basis those, 20-minute newsletters we talked about is so, so important and vital to the success of your live launches.
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of thought of this, but for the people that we're talking to, typically they're really busy and they don't have time for, all of these different platforms. Do you feel like emailing could be just their main kind of way to serve their audience? And so maybe they can't do Instagram or podcast or YouTube. Do you think if they just focus on those weekly emails, then they could still build a significant business and a significant income?
Huzzah! Yes, Lindsay, I love that you asked this. Listen, listen, listen. When I was starting out, oh my gosh, my then husband thought I was going like into a scam cult. He was like, there's no way people make money on the internet. They're lying. I had a toddler who barely spoke English and, did not care that mommy was working.
Mhm.
I didn't even have internet on my phone when I started my business. I had to go to like laundromats and libraries and Lowe's parking lots to, upload my blog posts.
Yeah,
Nobody cared about my business except me. Really, honestly, nobody really believed that it was going to be a thing.
yeah.
And remember, I said, I don't know what, 20, 30 minutes ago, like, Mama didn't raise no fool.
Mm.
I am nothing if not efficient. And I knew I had to get something going. So I focused on my email list and my email list only. I mentioned, oh, I was a blogger. But after about 6 months, like, I could not keep up with that content.
Yeah.
So I started outsourcing that. Like, hey, Lindsay, you do this. Can you write a blog post on that for me? Thanks. And
Mm.
then I would just focus when I was working on growing my email list, making those connections and those partners that we talked about at the top of this podcast. That was all I cared about was, how can Lindsay and I do something together to grow our list? How can I make this mutually beneficial for her and myself? And then how can I, it was for me every single Sunday night, just send an email out and even asking my email list, oh, if you like my emails, do you have a friend that would like my emails too? Send them this link. Thank you so much. Things like that. Yes, you can absolutely have a sustainable, profitable business just growing your email list and connecting with those people and converting them. I even with LizWilcox.com, up until the business is about to be 5 years old, it'll be 5 years old in a few weeks. And all I did was grow my list those first few years. Y'all, I just started my very first podcast after, again, nearly 5 years. I've never had a blog for this. I've never really done anything. You can look on my social media. It's sporadic as at best. but it's all been for growing the email list. And they say for every dollar you spend with email marketing, you can get up to 40 bucks in return when you do it right. And really just following that email staircase, getting followers, putting them on the list to make them friends, converting those friends into customers is how I've built three businesses, and I know you can too.
Yeah, I feel like that's really encouraging for people who are busy and they hear maybe other, business mentors telling them, oh, you need to do social media and all of this. And like moms can't do that and full-time teachers can't do that. It's just too much and overwhelming. So focus on that email list, focus on building those friends. I love that. I think that's very encouraging for our listeners. How do we know our emails are working? So what are like some key metrics to look for?
My number one metric, the only metric I really care about, and this will not come as a shock, is my percentage of customers on my email list. This is something that you have to track on your own. It's pretty simple. Just tag them purchase anytime they purchase something. Um, when I focus on that, how can I convert this one customer? How can I write this email today to maybe even get one or two more customers? It's never, oh, I want to get 5,000 customers today. That's unrealistic. I really try to live in the real world. But how can I just get maybe one or two or three, depending on the size of my email list today? Because I know eventually down the road, that two can turn into 20, 200, 2,000, etc., right? So the percentage of customers on my list is the number one metric I recommend that you pay attention to. Why? Because customers create community. A lot of people think, oh, when I'll build a giant community and then I'll have customers. Not really. Customers create community. Customers invest back into you. They take action. When they take action, because your products are amazing, they're going to see results. And when they see results, they're going to share with their friends, right? That's the main thing for growing your list. Once you get those first couple hundred, converting them into customers so that they'll share with their friends because they've seen results, right? And so I really focus on that metric. Of course, there's open rates, there's click rates, revenue, retention, all of that. But when you can convert as many people into customers, guess what? Again, they're customers, they're going to open your emails, right? They're invested. They're
Mm.
going to click on stuff because they take action. They're going to help you with that list growth because they're sharing with their friends. So that's really what I recommend when it comes to metrics.
Okay, I really like that. And an email service provider that you recommend, or do you have like a favorite?
My favorite is Kit, formerly known as ConvertKit. I've been using it since 2016, and it's still almost, they've added some bells and whistles, but as far as the features I was using in 2016, I'm still using them today, and I'll probably be using them in another 8 years, right?
Yeah.
It's for creators by creators, hashtag FUBU, right? FUBU in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's just simple enough for the majority of people to understand. But
Right.
when it comes to picking an email service provider, picking something that hosts those emails and allows you to send those mass emails, just pick the one that works for your brain and your budget. Put 20 minutes on the clock. Go to YouTube. You could type in like over the shoulder review of Kit, of Flowdesk, of Active Campaign, whatever. And then you can go look at their prices. Just pick one. Just start sending emails. That's all I really care about.
Yeah. That's a good tip to actually like see someone be in there because I've tested a lot of different ones and some do not work for my brain and some do. So that is important to think about like each individual person and how like your brain works with the organization. Okay, man, this has been a really great episode, and I have taken away so much. I can't wait to apply all the things that I've learned. So I always ask people this before we hop off. What is one act of generosity you have done or plan to do?
So I think the biggest act of generosity, well, I'll do one in my personal life. I recently bought I call him my husband. He was my husband. Now he's not. We have a child together, right? Like ex is such a nasty word. So my husband got into a car accident.
Oh, gosh.
He's fine, but the car was totaled. So And friends, moms out there, ladies, this is motivation to get your business going. I was able to buy him a car for cash, no strings attached because my business does so well. And it was so awesome. I felt so
Incredible.
good to be able to, as many problems as we have, we have a child together and we created that together. And it feels good to be generous in that way and just say, nope, I got it, babe. Here you go. And then in my business, I am generous in my products. For example, my main product is only $9. It's something I know I could charge $99 a month for. It's weekly templates that I write for you. You can plug and play. Nowadays with ChatGPT, it's going to get you 98% of the way there.
Right.
But I only charge $9 because I remember what it was like when, my husband said, I don't know about this. I don't like the way that everything costs money in your business, and I don't think this is going to work. And I remember when $9 felt like a lot to spend on me, on my business, away from my child and our family. And so I've kept the price $9 for over 4 years. Even though the USD is not worth what it was 4 years ago, I really refuse I really refuse to up the price. One of my values in my business that I have written is radical generosity. And that feels like every time I make a sale, I'm getting as much out of it as someone else. And the price tag has a lot to do with that.
That's great. And I feel like your customers, I'm sure, can see that like you're not just in it to make money. You truly, want to help people. And that's such a good heart to have when you're a business owner. It's not about how many sales can I make, but if you're truly like, how many people can I help? Other people can see that. And that's where you start to build that trust, that friendship with your customers when they see you truly are trying to serve them, not just sell to them.
Amen. Thank you for asking that question.
Yes, I love radical generosity as well. That's one of our um, top values too. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Liz. This was just incredible. Tell people where they can find you. If you have a freebie you want to share, we'll definitely put it in the show notes, but tell us all the things.
Yeah, of course, I'm an email marketer. I'd love for you to join my list. Side
Yeah.
note, this is one of the ways I grow my list podcasts. Anyway, you can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, you can't miss it. There's a hot pink button. You're going to click that and you're going to be able to download an entire welcome sequence already written for you. 3 newsletter samples, one to show you how to get people to click, another how to get people to reply, and another how to get people to buy directly from your newsletter. And if that's not enough, I know writing from scratch totally sucks. You've got 52 subject lines for a year full of prompts, all for free. LizWilcox.com, hot pink button.
Love that. What an incredible freebie. So everyone go right now and grab that. Unless you're driving, wait till you get home. All right. Well, thank you so much, Liz. I hope you guys loved this episode and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.